what's up? Today we're going to play Festival Control. Thwackey has the Boom Boom Grub ability that lets us search our deck for any card as long as a Pokemon with the Festival Lead ability is in our active spot. So if we get a few Thwackey out, we can get multiple cards every turn of whatever card we want. It's kind of insane. The Festival Lead Pokemon we're going to play to keep in our active is Goldeen, because it has the attack Whirlpool. It does, for a double colorless, 10 damage and lets us flip a coin, and if we get heads it discards an energy off our opponent's active, and the Festival Lead ability lets us attack twice as long as we have the Festival Grounds Stadium in play. So that gives us 2 chances to flip coins and discard energy from our opponent's active. So we're also going to play 4 Crushing Hammer, and then to keep with the theme of flipping coins, we have a couple Cyllene to try and flip some heads and get the hammers back. Cyllene says flip 2 coins. For each heads, put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. So we're going to use that to recover our hammers and Pal Pads. And we're going to use our Pal Pads to recover supporters like Eri that let us look at our opponent's hand and discard up to 2 items, so we can spam that to try and get rid of super rods and energy retrievals. We also have Team Yell's Cheer to recover Pokemon and supporters. It lets us shuffle up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon and supporter cards from our discard pile into our deck. And then once our opponent runs at running low on energy, we have this Rillaboom that for 1 grass does 60 damage during your opponent's next turn. Attacks used by the defending Pokemon costs a colorless more, and its retreat cost is 1 colorless more. So it can kind of trap it in the active, and hopefully they can't find energy to attack, and they have an extra retreat, so they're going to have a harder time retreating out of the effect. It also has an attack Wood Hammer, or for 2 grass it does 180, and we do 50 damage to ourselves. So we're trying to run our Pokemon out of energy and energy recovery resources, and then attack to be able to finish the game to take our prizes. We have Unfair Stamp as our ace spec. In case our opponent gets off to a really fast start, we can just play that and try and slow them down. We have our 4 double colorless, and to recover them we have Roseanne's backup. It lets us shuffle a energy card, a Pokemon, a tool, and a stadium in our into our deck, so we can recover our double turbos, our Goldeens, and our Festival Grounds, which is pretty nice. With this deck you're going to want to go second and try an Arven and play a TM evolution to either evolve up to a couple Thwackeys, or if we're up against Dragapult, we can evolve up to the Rellor to make it so they can't take 2 prizes in a turn, because we're going to have a hard time dealing with that. But yeah, that's the deck, and let's get into the games. Alright, so this first game we get a couple mulligans, which is pretty lucky, and we are up against Dragapult Charizard, which is a quite scary matchup because they are able to pretty easily accelerate a few energy from the deck, and if they can establish a couple Charmanders and use a couple Charizards for the full effect, it's going to be hard for us to, get some free turns. So that's really what you want, is to get a free turn to start Cylening and using other supporters to recover stuff, where you don't have to worry about getting knocked out, because it's pretty easy to knock out a Goldeen. We're not taking any hits, so if they attack 6 times we lose. But luckily our Rabsca is in the deck, so we're going to go ahead and get that out right away. This is the matchup that it's for, or else we would just 100% lose. And only hit the Rillaboom on the Bug Catching Set, unfortunately. I would like to have gotten a Grass Energy, maybe another Thwackey. I'm not too sure about the Bug Catching Sets in here. Those could become Ultra Balls probably, or just be cut. Because if you go first though, you're gonna want some way to find your evolutions. But they just evolved to a Dracloak right away, and another Dracloak. And I just remembered to hit the settings button so it actually records audio. For some reason, if I don't do that, my game audio doesn't play at all. It's really weird. And they find the Candy Charizard, unfortunately. I kind of thought when they grabbed that Charmeleon that they wouldn't be able to find it. And they take the turn 2 knockout with a 0 card hand, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to promote the Goldeen, check the Crushing Hammer first. It's tails. Now I'm going to Thwackey for another Thwackey, make sure my other Goldeen's in the deck. One of them always seems to be prized. And I do have 3 more double turbo. It's kind of unfortunate that I had to waste one right at the beginning of the game. But I have to grab the turbo and the stadium to hopefully discard at least 1 energy. My opponent can see 4 cards deep, but they only have 1 card in their hand, so it would be nice if we could get a free turn. And get tails. This animation's like way longer than it should be. Alright, double tails. That is unfortunate. And that attack sound is kind of annoying. I might just remove the audio, the game audio, because that is unbearable to listen to. It makes like a whipping sound. And they get the attachment on their Dragapult, so they are up quite a few energy attachments. Definitely don't like to see that. And they're just going to start using their abilities. Now they have 3 Dracloaks out, so I don't know. It's not looking very good for us at this point. They play Temple of Sinnoh, but I don't know, that doesn't matter too much because we need the stadium in play either way. I can promote the Goldeen. I need to get a replacement Goldeen and a double turbo in a stadium, so all my Thwackeys are basically spoken for at this point. I discard the bench because I have 2 more Crushing Hammers and 2 attacks with my Goldeen to discard energy, so I'm liking my odds to get at least 1 off the active. And I just grab what I need, and I have this last one. I need to get another Goldeen down, but unfortunately that was our last one because there is 1 prized. Maybe a heavy ball would be good in this deck. I just grabbed the Unfair Stamp because I'm like considering playing it at this point, but I don't know, there's probably something better that I could have grabbed. And I get 2 heads on the hammers to make up for last turn, which was very nice. Now I just need 1 heads to get the energy off this Charizard. And also once we now that we have an extra Goldeen, we can start playing Eries and stuff, which will be really nice because you really this deck probably plays 2 super odds. You really want to hopefully Erie away one of them. But they hit us with the Iono. We're always getting 6 off Iono for the most part, so that's nice. They find the super odd. That's unfortunate. I guess they would always play it right when they find it, so we wouldn't really have a chance to Erie it away. We kind of need to hope that they hold on to one on a turn that we happen to Erie. But we finally get a free turn, so now we can grab extra cards. I just want to build up my hand to be able to do whatever I want because I'm worried about them bossing up a Thwackey to try and buy a turn. So I should grab a double colorless or at least a grass energy so that I could Arven for the rescue board and use that to retreat my Thwackey if I need to. Double heads on the Cyllene, which is very nice. And now I can Counter Catcher and hopefully get rid of this energy off of the Dracloak. And I'm building up the Thwackey to just one-shot that Charizard at some point with the Rillaboom. And double tails again. It just when it seems like I'm hitting a lot of heads, it's just double tails with the attack, so I guess it all evened out. But now all they really need is a Dragapult, because they can knock us out with the first attack. They don't need to use the second attack, which is makes the Dragapult matchup hard. That's why you need the Rabsca, and the Rillaboom's really good to make it so they definitely need 2 energies at the end of the game once they're almost out of resources. And another super rod. That is unfortunate. I would have loved to Erie that out of their hand, but I'll check the hammer, and if not, I have to play the boss. At some point, you want to kind of try to build up extra hammers in the deck, I think. But now I have to play the boss. It would have been nice to be able to play an Erie that turn, or maybe even another Cyllene, because the coolest part about like the Thwackey, I could just Pal Pad and grab Cyllene right away. It's pretty sweet. I did end up cutting the fan card because, I don't know, I just never like used it. It's kind of like a win more card, it felt like. And I discard the energy and they concede. I'm guessing they were either just sick of playing against it or they prized their other Charizard, so they could never like accelerate energy, and we were always going to be able to bring up whatever they put one attachment onto and remove the energy from it. So I think eventually we would have won that game either way. Alright, so we have a like really good starting hand this time. We do have to go first, but luckily we do have the Poffin. We're up against Raging Bolt. Now this seems like a terrible matchup. This is on the casual ladder. This is like one of the games that I was like when I was testing the deck and working out the list, and it was just so ridiculous that I felt like I had to put it into the game. So what they probably should do is just find a way into an ogre pond with a bunch of energy on it and just do that. Like only put that in play, don't put any more Pokemon in play, and just attack with that every turn and they would win. But this is an obscure deck, and that's one of the advantages of playing a more obscure off the wall kind of a deck, is your opponent really doesn't know what you're doing. They probably think I'm playing the attacking festival lead deck, so they're just trying to establish as much of a board as they can, which makes sense. I don't think many people are really thinking about festival lead control. It'd be cool if it did end up being a good deck, but I just don't know. I don't know, if you flip all heads you can probably beat anything, but you can also play games where you flip only tails. It's definitely a good fun deck, and almost every game like that I played with it, I won every game that I played with it, and a lot of games my opponent just conceded because they didn't want to deal with just getting their energy discarded every turn. And once you're like in Arceus League, I don't think you can D-rank, so there's no motivation to not concede. So I don't really blame them. But Iono here because I want to find more than I could just find with the Arven. And I do find a Thwackey, so now I can start chaining them. I grab my last Thwackey, which is going to get my Stadium. And then hopefully I can get a Heads and put some, you know, extra pressure on my opponent to keep finding Sadas. Now I clicked it again, I clicked no. The first game that I played, I clicked yes to, I don't know. I wanted to see what it would do, and it does the whole attack animation all over again, even when there's no energy on the active. But they have a Vessel, they get 2 grass, so they must have like exactly what they need in their hand, I would guess. Like at least one of the energies for Raging Bolt. And they're thinking they can grab the other one with Sada. Oh, they have a Retrieval. Eri is going to be really good in this matchup because there's so many item cards to recover energy, and like energy retrievals are pretty important. They do get rid of a Pal Pad, and that is good for us because the more they can Pal Pad, the more they can accelerate energy, and we get a free turn almost right away. Now, I don't know, this is kind of when the deck starts to get a little bit out of control, I think. And I'm just like even trying what to get here, because I basically have everything I want. So I can grab Crushing Hammers, I can Eri, check the hand. That's like really good cards to get rid of. Their hand is dead. So I can probably just like start using Crushing Hammers, establish another Grookey. I can get 4 cards that I want every turn. I don't know, this ability's nuts. Get an Arven, just have an option to do whatever next turn if they like boss or something. I play the hammer, and I discard it off the active because I'm worried about flipping double tails, and I do know they have a lightning in their hand, so I figure that this should buy us a turn. They Pokegear, and they take a while on this Pokegear, so I assume it was like boss Iono. Yeah. And they attach active, and we're going to get another free turn unless they get a switching card, which they don't. That's very nice. So I can just establish another Thwackey, maybe flip some more heads. I could Eri again because they have a new hand and I don't know what's in the new hand. There's a bunch of things I can do this turn. I could start chaining Cylenes. I don't know, I hit a retrieval that's pretty clutch. Definitely pretty lucky. I grab a Cyllene for next turn. And there is one super in this deck, and the reason that I didn't go for two is because we have the Lana to put the Pokemon right in your hand, and you don't need like 9 Goldeens. Once they knock out 6, you've lost already. So you're hoping to only need one super rod, and you also have the Team Yell's Cheer and Lana to recover, and Roseanne's backup. You might not even need the super rod, but it is a nice like item option or item based recovery option. So they get both of their energies. They they Pokegear because they are afraid of Eri, and they only have 15 cards in deck, and they've only taken 1 prize. So the deck out option is definitely looking like it's there. And now they know to discard off the bench. Alright, I get Unfair Stamp. So I can definitely play that this turn. I can just start spamming hammers. I could play double hammer, and then Cyllene and Unfair Stamp. So I don't need to recover Pokemon or anything this turn. So I'm going to guarantee that I get 1 off of the active. Play the Cyllene. I do get 1 head, so that's nice. I was thinking about recovering the Pal Pad, but I really just want more crushing hammers. This deck's ridiculous. It just makes me laugh. So now I can start attacking the benched energy. That hand's not the best, but it'll work. Alright, now we can just grab out some more crushing hammers, a double turbo to maybe get ahead on our attachments or whatever, and a Pal Pad. At a certain point, I don't know, it feels like you don't even need any more cards out of your deck, but it feels like a waste to not grab anything. And flip heads on the first try, very nice. So next turn I can get Cyllene, I could Eri. Not really too sure, but I'm hoping to buy another turn. They get a jamming tower, so I think we're down low on our stadium cards, I believe, if I remember. Oh no, there's still 1 left. Alright, that's good. Because if not, I would, like if this was the last one, I'd probably just play a Roseanne's backup to recover a stadium. I can grab another Eri, and I don't know, I wish I grabbed Cyllene. That was kind of a mistake. But I just spam another Eri and hit a switch card that's pretty messed up. And can flip a couple more coins. This deck's so ridiculous. Get a heads, and attack again, and get another heads. See, this is why this game, I wanted to put it in. It feels like PTCG Live like forgot that tails was an option. It just let me keep flipping heads, and I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous. If this deck, like, if this happened every game, I think this deck would be probably, like, playable at a competitive level, but I don't think you can plan to flip like 90% head rate. I don't know, I'm just, like, boom groving to just grab cards out of my deck at this point. There's no point, and they just concede they're done with it. Yeah, this is obviously more of a fun deck. I would be shocked if this deck was viable at any sort of competitive level, but it is definitely a lot of fun. Definitely good. I don't know, it feels kind of bad playing it on the casual ladder, but it is more of a joke deck, and it's probably easily beatable if you don't like go crazy with your energy and stuff. You only use exactly what you need. If your opponent's able to figure out what you're doing early enough, I think they can definitely play around it, but I don't know. Definitely a fun deck. Hope you enjoyed, and take care.